Okay, so I think we've all had that experience, right? You pull into the fuel station, maybe grab a coffee, maybe a snack, and you don't really, think twice about the people behind the counter.
Yeah.
But you've sent in some really interesting material this time around on fuel station specialized sellers.
Right.
And honestly, I've got to say, it's really challenged my assumptions about this kind of work.
Yeah.
So get ready, listeners, because today we're going to take a deep dive into a career path that's, well, way more dynamic than you might think.
Absolutely. And the source we're looking at today
Right.
really paints this picture of a role that goes so far beyond just pumping gas, you know?
Okay.
It really emphasizes the client-facing side of things. We're talking customer service, technical expertise, even, salesmanship.
Wow. Okay, so not your average gas station gig then. And I've got to say, some of the potential perks here are, well, surprising, to say the least, like high earning potential, combined with flexible scheduling. That's not usually what comes to mind when I think fuel station.
It's true. It's true. But, the source we're looking at, it also brings in a bit of a reality check. It points out that those flexible schedules can often mean long hours, especially if you're really going for that higher income. It's all about balance, isn't it?
It really is finding that balance in any job. So let's get practical for a moment. How does someone actually step into this role? What does the path look like from, say, newbie to seasoned pro?
Well, the source outlines these 4 distinct career stages. You've got your entry level, then you move up to junior, then mid-level, and finally senior.
Makes sense.
But here's what's really interesting. It's not just about racking up years of experience, right? The skills and the responsibilities, they really evolve dramatically at each stage.
That is fascinating. So it really is like climbing a career ladder, not just, as you said, having a job.
Exactly.
So when we talk about these skills, what are we actually talking about here? What do you need to even get started?
Well, even at that entry level, ensuring a clean and safe environment, that's absolutely paramount. I mean, it sounds pretty basic, right? But the source really stresses that just maintaining a spotless facility, that's crucial, both for how customers perceive the business and for meeting those, safety standards. So it's this attention to detail that really forms the foundation for everything else that follows.
Right. It's all about establishing trust and showing that professionalism, even from day one. So, okay, you've been working hard, you're moving up in the world. What changes when you hit that junior fuel station specialized seller level?
See, that's where the technical know-how really kicks in. You're no longer just assisting with purchases, you're becoming an advisor,
Oh, I like that.
Like the source uses this example of recommending the right kind of oil based on a customer's car.
Mm.
You need to know their make, their model.
Oh, wow.
It's about demonstrating a deeper understanding of the vehicles and what people actually need.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
you're really leveling up that knowledge with each customer, with each interaction. And it's interesting, right? Because it's not just about knowing, like, okay, where's the dipstick? It's about understanding the why behind it all.
Exactly. And, as you progress, say, to that mid-level, the source even talks about this shift toward data analysis.
Really?
Yeah. Imagine being able to track, sales trends for the different fuel grades, or, which add-on products are actually doing well.
That's smart.
It is.
Yeah.
Because that kind of insight, that's what informs the bigger business decisions.
Mhm.
And ultimately, it's about improving profitability.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So it's really cool because you're not just serving the customers, you're actually contributing to that strategic, direction of the business as a whole. I'm kind of blown away by how multifaceted this role is becoming as we go up the ladder.
It really is. And at that senior level, the source emphasizes how important it is to build those strategic partnerships.
Oh, interesting.
So, think maybe collaborating with some local businesses, doing joint promotions,
Sure.
or even negotiating those bulk fuel contracts with
Mhm.
suppliers so you're getting that competitive pricing, that kind of stuff.
Wow, okay. Yeah, that's a whole other level of, well, responsibility, honestly. It sounds like a senior fuel station specialized seller needs to be like a skilled negotiator,
Right.
a business strategist, not just someone who's knowledgeable about cars.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And I think that emphasis on business acumen,
Hmm.
that's something that might really surprise people who haven't, considered this kind of career path before.
For sure. It's definitely been eye-opening, even for me. And speaking of preparing for this career, the source you shared, it goes into interview prep too.
It does.
And like RoleCatcher, they've got, it seems like this treasure trove of resources, like a whole database of like specifically tailored interview questions.
It really is invaluable,
Yeah,
especially, like you said, if you're trying to really understand what those hiring managers are going to be looking for. And the questions, I mean, they go beyond just the basics, you know what I mean?
yeah,
They really get at that complexity we've been talking about.
totally. So give us an example, like what kind of curveball might someone encounter during an interview for this kind of position?
Well, one that the source mentions is, how would you handle a situation where, say, a customer becomes agitated about a fuel price increase? So right away, it's highlighting that need for strong interpersonal skills.
Yeah.
Being able to de-escalate, um, well, any tense situations that might pop up.
Yeah.
That's so crucial when you're in a customer-facing role.
Makes total sense because it's not just about knowing, like you said, the price per gallon. It's about navigating those sometimes, tricky customer interactions and doing it all, of course, with professionalism and empathy.
Right.
Were there any other like key insights you got from those RoleCatcher resources you wanted to share?
Yeah, actually, one that really stuck with me was, how do you stay informed about changes in like fuel regulations
Yep.
or environmental standards?
Mm.
And I thought that was interesting because it's highlighting the importance of continuous learning in this field.
Right, because it's not a stagnant industry, is it?
Exactly. The fuel industry, I mean, it's constantly evolving. You've got new technologies popping up, environmental regulations changing all the time, new safety protocols. It's a lot to stay on top of.
So staying ahead of the curve is key. You can't just like rest on your laurels in this line of work. You really have to stay informed and keep learning, clearly.
You got it. And the source even suggests like subscribing to some industry publications, attending webinars,
Hmm.
maybe even participating in online forums just to like really stay plugged into the latest trends and advancements. That kind of proactive approach, I think it demonstrates a real commitment to professional development, which is huge no matter what field you're in.
It's about being a lifelong learner, right?
Uh,
Always looking for new information, new skills. I love that. It seems like we keep circling back to this idea that it's not just about the like hard technical knowledge, but also those softer skills like communication, adaptability that really comes through in this material.
Absolutely. And the source actually emphasizes that these are skills that are transferable, and they're more and more sought after in today's job market, no matter what the specific industry is.
Yeah.
It's all about being able to connect with people,
Yeah.
solve problems effectively, and adapt to new situations as they come up.
That's so true. Now, we've talked a lot about the career progression, the skills that you need, but I'm also curious about the like day-to-day reality. What does a typical day actually look like for a fuel station specialized seller, say, at that entry level? So paint us a picture. What are we actually doing all day?
Well, the source makes it clear that it's a fast-paced environment.
Okay.
You're constantly interacting with customers, obviously,
Right, makes sense.
assisting with the fuel purchases, making sure that traffic is flowing smoothly.
Yeah, I don't want a big backup at the pumps.
Exactly. And of course, it's about maintaining that clean, safe environment that we talked about for both the customers and the staff.
So we're talking like stocking the shelves, wiping down surfaces,
Right.
maybe even doing a little light maintenance just to keep everything humming along.
Yeah, yeah. And let's not forget about those safety protocols, right?
Yeah.
You got to know what to do if there's a fuel spill or how to handle any hazardous materials.
Absolutely. Being vigilant, being proactive. It's all about making sure the whole operation runs smoothly and safely.
Exactly. Now, as you climb those ranks, as we talked about, the day-to-day might shift a bit.
Okay.
You might be doing more of that data analysis we touched on, maybe some staff training, even some community outreach, depending on the specific role in the company.
It's really incredible how this one job title, it really encompasses such a wide range of tasks and responsibilities.
It really speaks to how the fuel station itself is evolving. It's not just a refueling stop anymore. It's becoming more of a hub for all sorts of services and customer needs.
And speaking of evolution, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't address the elephant in the room, which is, of course, electric vehicles. How does this, the rise of EVs, how does that factor into the future of fuel stations specialized sellers?
Ah, yes, the million-dollar question. I think that's something that a lot of people are wondering about. Will these roles need to adapt to include, say, charging station expertise?
Sure.
Or are we going to see entirely new positions popping up? It's hard to say for sure.
It really is. It's fascinating to think about, though. Maybe the fuel station's specialized seller, 10 years down the line, they're going to be well-versed in both combustion engines and electric powertrains. They'll be like true automotive all-rounders.
Right. Imagine advising a customer on the best charging options for their EV, or even troubleshooting a technical issue with the charging infrastructure. It's a whole new frontier.
Totally. And it just goes to show how important adaptability is and that willingness to learn about new technologies, especially in this field, if you want to really stay ahead of the game.
Couldn't agree more. Those who embrace that change, who keep expanding their skills, those are the ones who are really going to thrive as the automotive landscape keeps shifting.
So true. Well, you've definitely given us, and I think our listeners, a lot to consider today. As we wrap up, any final pearls of wisdom for someone out there who might be thinking, hey, maybe this is the career for me?
I would say go for it. It's a field with a ton of potential, both for personal and for professional growth. Don't be afraid to embrace the challenges, never stop learning. And who knows, you might find yourself at the forefront of that electric vehicle revolution we were just talking about.
I love that. It's a good reminder that even in industries that seem, traditional, there's always space for innovation, for excitement, and for really making your mark.
Absolutely. As long as you have that curious mindset and you're ready to learn, the possibilities are pretty much endless.
Well said. A huge thank you, as always, for joining us on this deep dive into the world of fuel station specialized sellers.
My pleasure.
And to our listeners, we hope you've gained some new insights, maybe a fresh perspective on this surprisingly dynamic career path. It's definitely got me thinking.
Me too. It's been fun to explore.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those questions, and keep diving deep into all the unexpected corners of the working world.
And keep those career suggestions coming. We love hearing from you.